Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral, here for the Queer God Squad. Joining me today, and most days, are Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community.
There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world. In 2026, we are celebrating the 41st anniversary of Hotspots magazine, with Queer News Tonight sharing over 14,000 stories and 12 million views so far.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
Please like and share today's story, and if you'd like to support the work of Sunshine Cathedral, visit sunshinecathedral.org.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Quakers stand firm on LGBTQ+ rights. The Religious Society of Friends, or Quakers, has maintained a long-standing commitment to LGBTQ+ dignity, distinguishing it among mainstream Protestant denominations. This advocacy took a pivotal step in 1963 with the publication of Towards a Quaker View of Sex, which argued that loving homosexual acts were not sinful. Despite internal pushback, the movement continued toward full inclusion, establishing the Friends Homosexual Fellowship in 1973, and later becoming the first religious organization in Britain to formally recognize same-sex marriage in 2009. Today, Quakers remain active in the fight for equality, protesting anti-LGBTQ+ legislation, and challenging Christian nationalist rhetoric, guided by their core belief that, I'm quoting, "love is what is required." I mean, what more can I say?
Yeah.
Love is what's required. What I love about this particular story is that the Quakers were ahead of the game in so many different ways. In 1963, saying that homosexual love is something to revere, something that is godly, something that is beautiful. And then in 1973, during the early stages of the queer rights movement, coming out and saying that developing relationships with the queer community. Again, ahead of the game in 2009 in so many ways. A couple of states in the United States had already codified queer marriage, but for a religious organization, a mainstream, smaller mainstream religious organization to say, yes, you can marry the person you love. We can learn a lot from our Quaker brothers and sisters. They're not demonstrative in a lot of ways, but their walk tells the story.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I was first coming out many years ago and was actually looking for a faith community and asking around. It's like, oh, well, there's MCC. Okay, yeah, great. And the Quakers. Okay. And I have great respect for them. They've been doing this for years, for a long, long time. If you look for religious communities that will affirm the LGBTQ community, the Quakers.
Yeah.
You know, kind of same boat.
Yeah.
It was MCC, it was Quakers and the Unitarians.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, but to realize that, and that's what I love about history. When you look back and see what these organizations, religious organizations, have done to be supportive of the gay community over the years, it makes you appreciate the work they've done and the work what we're doing today, because it just kind of reminds me of, you know, all of us are interconnected. You know, all of this work to positively move society forward, it all goes hand in hand. And it takes all of us working together. And I think this is just one of those reminders that, you know, just because they may be doing it before this group or that group, they were the first one to really be out there as as you say, Reverend Kevin, you know, a small mainstream denomination on the front line advocating for justice for all and for love and about how we express ourselves is not a sin. And so, you know, you know, my childhood, the Quaker guy was on the oatmeal box. And so that was really all I knew about Quakers back then. But I lived and learned a lot more about, oh, there's this thing called Quakerism and what it's about and what it's about and what it stands for. And, you know, kudos to the Quakers.
Yeah.
I like timelines. And so I always like to tell people about how the New Testament unfolds, like chronologically. And, and it starts about 49, 50 with Paul, and, goes to about 150 or later with, 2 Peter. And all the Gospels are, before 120, 130 probably, with Mark being at year 70. So I love these timelines. Jesus dies around 29 or 30, and off it goes. So I was just thinking about a timeline for this, that the Quakers made this statement in 1963, their publication Towards a Quaker View of Sex, where they says it's not sinful, it's connection, it's intimacy, it's love, it's different but not bad. Like being left-handed is different than the majority but not bad. It's just how some people are wired, and it's like everything else. How do you use it? How do you use your intelligence? How do you use your intimacy? How do you use your money? How do you use anything? And there's a way to do it, beautifully, and there's a way to do it not so great. But that just being gay itself is just sort of neutral. It's not evil. It's just who someone are. And then now how you act as a person, we're going to judge that maybe. But so that's 1963. But even before that, but this was a religious first, because before that you had Kinsey in the 40s, and you had Hooker in the 50s. But that was anthropology and psychology and biology. Those were the sciences. But in 1963, the first religious people to jump in are the Quakers. Absolute heroes. Then in 1966, I'm born. I just thought I'd squeeze that in. It might be significant. And then in 1968, MCC gets started. And in 1969 is the Stonewall Uprising. And in 1970 is the first Gay Pride Parade. And in 1973 is the American Psychiatric Association taking homosexuality off its list of disorders. It is no longer considered in any way disordered. And that's the same year, the very same year, that the Quakers begin the Fellowship of or the, what was it called?
FHF.
FHF, yeah, that's the Friends Homosexual Fellowship. The very same year that psychiatry says, but they were a decade ahead of the APA even. And then it wasn't until the 90s that sodomy laws were overturned, and then 2003 that Vermont had civil unions, and then 2015 that we got marriage equality. And that in the religious sense, it all started in 1963 with our friends the Quakers. Yeah. And so if you want to know, well, what's the difference between Quakers and Unitarians and MCC, or UUs like to think, MCC likes to shout, and Quakers like to play the quiet game. But their values are the same.
Yes.
It's about recognizing the sacred value of all people and forming community and loving people. And so, we like to shout and sing, and the MCNC, and the Unitarians like to really be analytical and think. And I had a foot in there, and a foot in their camp off and on for most of my life, actually. And the Quakers are deeply contemplative, committed to peace and nonviolence and loving action, and seeing that of God in all people, and communing with the inward light that is in all people. And you can see when your life is about communing with and demonstrating love, you're ahead of the game sometimes on making the world a much better place. And that's today with the Queer God Squad. Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about. Please like and share this and other episodes of the Queer God Squad. Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together, and also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.